Welcome to day 2 of our 5-day track build challenge, presented by Toyo Tires and Koenig Wheels.
Today we prep the chassis in anticipation of the K-Swap and wait for Brian from Hassport's arrival.
We were planning to get to work on the K-Swap a little earlier today, but Brian from Hassport's flight was delayed and then he missed his connection, so he's probably having a beer in Detroit right now waiting for his flight into Toronto, which means we're going to take care of some other stuff before he gets here.
Like this exhaust system?
This beautiful pea shooter exhaust. It's actually in decent shape for, it's probably not the original exhaust, is it, Pete?
And when you look over here,
yeah.
I think it has seen better days. Yeah, my brother did this spectacular job.
He actually did a pretty good job of wrapping that up, though. Like,
I mean, the job is good, but come on.
It's pretty ghetto.
Like metal wire holding up the exhaust system.
It's doing the job. So I don't know, Jake. I'll give you a thumbs up for effort. I don't know about, as an engineer, you might be a little embarrassed by the coat hanger on your car. But
this is pre him becoming an engineer.
Is it?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might notice it's a little oily under here too, and that's a Canadian winter thing. We like to oil spray our cars so they don't rust so bad.
That's how we preserve them.
Something Brian wouldn't know anything about. And this exhaust clamp, not OE spec. God, it's rusty.
Look at the job there. It's like multiple pieces.
I know, it's elaborate, huh?
What is that? Like some type of metal tape?
I think it's a coat hanger, actually.
No, around the pipe.
Oh, here, yeah.
There's like some...
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That is like an exhaust patch kit, isn't it?
Yeah, I think oh man, he went to town here.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
I think that
took way too long, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We should have just slid it right off instead of cutting it.
Sweet slip fit there, Jake.
Yeah.
Nice work, buddy.
What a job. Look at that exhaust. Look at the angle we got that bad boy on now.
She's pretty.
All right.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that's garbage. Come on. There we go. Oh, no. I shouldn't have touched that.
It's a little slimy, eh?
Yeah, oh, my poor Valvoline gloves. Gonna have to wipe them off.
Skanky that thing is.
We're not using that anymore.
No.
That is done. Look at that.
Bye-bye shift linkages. Hello, shifter cables. Moving on here to stripping some of the front suspension so that we can drop the front subframe.
Yeah, because Dave's got to man the camera. I got to somehow remove the subframe by myself, so I'm gonna make it easier. Take some bolts off here.
Yeah, lighten it up. And then this big greasy mess, he'll hit the floor.
Look at that. Looks like the stand did come in handy.
Yeah.
Now we'll see if I can Superman this out myself. All right. The rack. Steering knuckle is disconnected.
Show us what you got, Peter. Come on, buddy.
Gonna do a little bit of science here. We're getting caught up.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I have my Wheaties for breakfast.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no. Man, more mess on the K-Tune floor. Sorry, guys. Damn it.
Oh. Pete likes playing with fire, but there's actually a reason for this. The tie rods, as they're prone to do, are just completely seized and rest onto the rack. So I'm gonna heat them up and
we should have taken them off when they were on the car, but we didn't. So now we're really gonna need some heat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can get this acetylene torch dialed in here.
You can also see we've bolted on the Hassport rear mount here, which is designed to bolt up to the cross member. In this case, it's the DC2 cross member, which lets us run Hassport's EP02 mounts, which puts the engine further back in the engine bay and gives you better axle angles. We'll talk a little bit more about all that when we're slapping all that good stuff in the car. But in the meantime, he wants to get his torch tuned up here, buddy. Come on, get it tuned. Oh, it's looking good now. Oh yeah,
That's that sound.
that's the good stuff there.
We'll stick with that. That's good enough. Well, let's see if the heat worked here. Oh yeah, look at that. Loose.
Gonna touch that with your bare fingers?
No, I definitely am not. And why are we taking this apart, Dave?
Well, for one, the boot is torn and
Yeah, check this out.
yeah,
Woo!
it's not so good.
Got a boot party.
And the ball joint out there is baffed, so it just
Time to
needs
replace some stuff here.
it definitely needs to be replaced.
As you can see, our outer tie rod's on, our rubber boot is in place. We've got our Hasport mount. I also switched over the fitting on the power steering line to the K-tuned one. That's gonna be for our power steering relocation kit that they have. And the last thing I had to do was take the EK rubber boot off of the steering shaft and transfer it over onto the DC2 subframe. And I'm sure Brian will explain this, but I think the DC2 subframe moves this mount back, right, Dave?
Yep.
Which allows for more clearance up front for a full-sized radiator, which is why we're using this and why we bought that $300 Integra. And man, oh man, is it coming in handy. Ooh, all right. I guess our subframe is in, and it's time to move on to some control arms, Dave?
Yeah, I think control arms are a good call.
That's the next play here.
It's nice to see that
Look at this.
in there.
Fits
That's
like
progress.
a champ.
That is real progress, PT.
We're onto the control arms here, replacing the bushings with some hard race units, which Dave will tell you about in a second. And we've skipped the part of me struggling and trying to push and pull and do whatever you need to do to get them out. If you want to see me struggle, watch a Mustang video, because there was lots of that in that video. We're going to skip that here. What I'm going to do now is move on to removing the ball joint, because we're replacing that with hard race as well. But first I got to get rid of the heat shield, and it's so rotted here that it just comes off.
Nice.
Isn't it perfect?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna need an air chisel to give me a hand here to try to knock this out. But first I want to take the rubber off of the ball joint. Prepare for some noise.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's actually going pretty good.
Yeah.
The one falling out.
Woo! Took your finger off there.
Almost, right?
Here's our roll center adjusting ball joints from Hard Race, which we sourced from our friends at Stage 4 Motorsport. They've been our source for hard race stuff for all our projects. We've run on the S2000, and we're going to run some stuff on Moose's M3, even on the Celica, as a matter of fact. So, roll center adjusting ball joints, you guys probably know what the deal is. They're basically a taller version of the ball joint, which shims the lower control arm back into the correct position to fix your roll center. So it's a geometry fixing unit, and it's obviously got 0 miles on it versus those 260 kilometer mile ones. So it should be a pretty straightforward install. We've got the right tools to press it in there. Pete will show you that in a sec.
Yeah, I'll struggle with that.
We're doing all the hard race bushings as well in their hardened rubber material. So it's like an OE style material. It's just a higher durometer or a stiffer rubber, so it'll take a lot of compliance out of these joints. It's too bad we didn't show you a close-up of the bushings. I'm not sure how bad the bushings were here, but some of the big bushings were completely baffed on that car.
If you pick one up, you can see it's kind of out of round.
Yeah,
Not that guy,
Oh,
the
this
other guy, yeah.
Oh yeah, that is kind of out of round, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're definitely worn. It's a good thing we're replacing them.
Yeah, and you can imagine what that does to your suspension geometry, especially if the rubber's torn. You're gonna have a lot of movement in that joint, which when you're putting a stiffer suspension on, it's just gonna get magnified. So when you go to a track build like this, you really do wanna change your bushings out. Nice thing with the hardened rubber ones is they're nice and quiet. They won't ruin your ride comfort. They won't tear the way poly bushings can. And they're not noisy. I should also mention that Hard Race does make a spherical bearing option for all of these joints. So if you wanna go like full hardcore race car spec, you can go to their sphericals. but because Pete's brother's gonna street drive this car sometime, we wanted to go with a hardened rubber solution. So yeah, check out Stage 4 Motorsports if you're Canadian, or really they'll ship anywhere in the world. They'll get you all your hard race stuff quick and easy.
Of course, K20 seems to have all the right tools here. We've got this nifty ball joint press tool set up here. And just like that, whew, bam!
Winning.
We are winning with the right tools. Thanks, K-Tuned.
Speaking of the right tool, snap ring tool.
Well,
PT.
it's not 100% right.
Close enough.
Should be bigger, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna
still gonna do the job.
I'm gonna try to make this work here.
Little snap ring just
There we go.
locks the ball joint in place.
It's not going anywhere now.
That's a wrap on day 2. We ran out of time here. We were busy doing things like picking up this guy at the airport. It's Brian from Passport, VTech Academy. Go on YouTube and type in VTech Academy. You'll find this guy teaching you about Honda-like stuffs. Pete and I, mostly Pete, got the small but important details done, like the ball joints and bushings. Got that front subframe in there. So tomorrow is a big day. The master of the K-Swap will be helping us out with the wiring, all the stuff that requires brain power. Pete will be supplying the muscle. I'll probably be behind the camera, because really, I got the right face for,
And
for
heck,
behind the
Ken
camera.
may even show up. It's going
That's
to be all
right.
hands on deck
Yeah.
tomorrow. We've got a
All-star
lot to get
ensemble
done.
tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
Good times.
There he goes. He's got a voice.
What's going on here?
You melted the nut?
No, it's a different size on the other side.
Really?
Yes, man.
That's insanity.
That's not insanity.
What is going on?